Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting of the City of Lenoir for Tuesday, February the 6th, 2024. We welcome you here this evening, and I'm glad it's been a little warmer the last few days, make everybody feel better for sure on that. In a few minutes, we'll be going to a moment of silence, and then we'll remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance to our country. Before we do that, we have a quick announcement or two. First, we want to wish a happy birthday to our council member, Mr. Ralph Presswood. Today is his 29th birthday. 29 times a couple. Anyway.
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus. But happy birthday, Ralph.
Thank you.
Glad you're here with us on your birthday, for sure. And also, as we go to our time of moment of silence, please keep the family of Mr. Wayne Keller in your thoughts and prayers. Wayne was with Blue Ridge Electric for many, many years, quite a fine gentleman in our city, did a lot of things for our city and county for over the years, and well respected in his community, and will be one of those that'll be missed. A real pioneer and legend in our community. So keep the family of Wayne Keller in your thoughts and prayers. All right, if you will, please join us for our moment of silence and remain standing for our pledge. Thank you. We salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Tonight, our first order of business is a presentation from our DLR group. And tonight, we'll present a review of our downtown master plan to the council. They have been working on this now for some months. I'm going to do that. With us, and we have Andrew Gale with us tonight. Andrew, thank you for being here. And Caroline Thompson, also of the DLR group, is on Zoom with us tonight. So great work, and we appreciate all the trips that you have made to Lenoir, and we've had a lot of meetings with not only the council and players that are involved, but citizens in our community, and a lot of input. And we're ready now to implement this and get it going. So, absolutely. Andrew, glad to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, Mayor Gibbons. Let me make sure this all works. So we're going to do a very brief overview. I think the master plan document has been distributed to council, and you guys have all had a chance to review it. And I think comments are welcome here or to filter back through Kaylin. So, I wanted to highlight a couple of the things that we understood when we were starting this process. We had a list of goals that we were trying to achieve. I think the ones that I really wanted to highlight for this group here, we understood that we're trying to stitch together a lot of, threads that have been sort of, been implemented or been talked about or been sort of planned for Lenoir and downtown Lenoir over, some number of years. So to take all of those and kind of weave those threads into a cohesive sort of fabric of a downtown. It was important to us and to the community. I think that this was an achievable goal. It's not a goal that sits, or it's not a plan that sits on a shelf. It's something that really becomes sort of a guiding document for the town of Lenoir. And I think also, in broad strokes, we know that North Carolina is growing. We know that Western North Carolina is growing, Caldwell County is growing, Lenoir is growing. We want the growth to happen. We want Lenoir to be able to capture that growth, capture the dynamism that we know is going to be growing, in North Carolina. So a downtown that's vital, that's exciting, that's bringing people is really important. So, as Mayor Gibbons said, we did a lot of outreach to the community. We did a lot of events where we workshops where we invited the community to come and talk to us about what was important to them in their downtown. We really wanted this to be a plan that was based in the community needs and desires. We interviewed city staff, we interviewed council members, we interviewed community leaders, church leaders, to really try to get a good picture. I think the thing that I really wanted to highlight here is sort of the survey responses that we got, that to us were really indicative of a lot of appetite in the community for a really vital downtown. And I think, that gave us a lot of confidence, and I think it should give you guys confidence too, to say, implementation will be hard, but the community wants it. I mean, 800 responses to a survey is phenomenal. It really is. And I think it speaks a lot to, the energy within Lenoir. So I'll go through some of this really quick, and I know that probably none of this is legible, so I'll try to interpret it a bit. Within the opportunities that we see, there's things that are outside of Lenoir that need to come into Lenoir. The OVT as a great example of one of those things. Tourism from, other parts of North Carolina and the region, to the mountains, to Lenoir, to this region, is something that's important to capture. But also I think the opportunities, again, to make the downtown of Lenoir a place for the community of Lenoir. It's not just for tourists, right? It's for the community, and we heard that over and over again. Again, there's an underlying demand for growth. We heard that. We see that as an opportunity. And we see as an opportunity, a real desire within the community for more open space, for more connection to the neighborhoods, for more family activities. Like, why do you come to downtown if you don't work and you don't want to go to a restaurant? Like what are you doing? So we see that as a real opportunity. And again, within that growth is the opportunity for housing. We heard that a lot. From when we were talking to community leaders on the advisory committee and elsewhere, they want to hire, they need to attract people, where are those people going to live? That was important to them. So we had some principles. I'm not going to read the slide. I think it's important to understand that we tried to go sort of in a methodical way and build up and say, we understand that at a certain point a master plan needs to get into sort of the tactical implementation. Where do stoplights go? Where do traffic lights go? But there needs to be some guiding principles as well, because there is no such thing as, a perfect plan that stays perfect for 10 years. Things change. The facts on the ground change. And so, understanding that there needs to be a why beyond all of this stuff is important. And again, that's all in the master plan. The pieces that I think, I want to highlight here, within these buckets of programming, connectivity, mixed uses, placemaking, is really this notion of policy and capacity, right? As this growth happens, staff has to grow, infrastructure has to grow to sort of accommodate those things. And so all of this stuff has to happen, in sort of a strategic and planned way. So I'm going to move fairly quickly into recommendations. So again, within our recommendations, we kind of have these four big frameworks. One is mixed use, arts, culture, heritage programming, right? So what is actually happening downtown? Sort of the next framework is circulation, connectivity, and parking, which is to say, what is the framework that supports all of those programming uses? Placemaking, open space, and public realm is sort of a third framework. And then again, policy and capacity. So what do those mean? So, in terms of arts, culture, and heritage programming, we identified, let's say a few key sites that we think are very catalytic to downtown. And we've highlighted them on this map. The Center Theater is an obvious one. What happens to the Center Theater, I think, has an outsized effect on downtown Lenoir. The site of the former Walgreens, which is number 4 there, as a big open parcel, and I understand that there's some plans for what that might be now, but when we started this plan, it was just space, but you can see by virtue of its location and its, sort of unencumbered like area, like that there's a real opportunity there. The campus, obviously, the old Lenoir High School, as an opportunity, also, we really felt like could be really catalytic to downtown. And so I guess, what does that mean? It means that, there is a certain amount of investment that I think the city wants to make in those spaces to say, let's encourage development here. And the idea with this master plan is, a little bit of investment and a couple of spots can spread. So, we are showing in our master plan all of these like orange buildings here. Those are all sort of envisioned as mixed-use developments, bringing businesses but also residents, into downtown. That's not stuff that the city's doing, other than maybe on a policy level, right? That's stuff that as you do sort of these catalytic developments focused on arts, heritage, the outdoors, the reasons why people want to be in Lenoir, all of that other development should follow. Obviously we thought and talked a lot about connectivity, parking. I think the big picture here is, turning one-way streets into two-way streets is going to be really critical on some timeline. Really looking at the perimeter of a downtown and really sort of an enlarged downtown footprint and saying what are the gateways where people coming in and trying to build a resonance about what that space is really important. The other thing that we talked about a lot with the community, and the community really seemed to get excited about, was this notion of north-south connection. So Lenoir, the downtown area, has really good east-west streets. Harper, West, Ash even. But the north-south connections beyond Main Street are not as good. And that does a couple of things. It makes it really hard to be a pedestrian in downtown Lenoir. It makes it hard to get around. It makes it harder for you guys to sort of leverage some of your assets, like all of these parking lots, north at along all these churches. Those are great opportunities for people who are parking at festivals, to be outside of downtown and then walk in. And a lot of the businesses that we talked to were really excited about this idea of kind of, enforcing these north-south connections, as pedestrian spaces. So potentially pedestrianizing some roads, but also looking for places mid-block where you can cut through and create sort of alleys of opportunity for businesses, for outdoor eating, for sort of festival spaces, and create, again, this notion of placemaking for the residents, right? So it's not necessarily about tourism per se, it's about sort of creating opportunities for local businesses to really inhabit downtown. Yeah, please.
You said that those access was not good. What do you mean?
Right, so you have, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can see the cursor here. So as an example here, this block of West is very long, right? Without really good north-south connections. And so from this corner, I know you can't see this, but somewhat, to this corner, that's just a long distance. And so this forms what we kind of call super blocks, right? That are unfriendly to pedestrians and make it hard even for businesses, right? Really to have, for the traffic to slow down, to see the signs, to see the sales, to see, the people out there, eating, brunch or whatever. Our idea is that you need to enforce that street grid and make sort of the blocks smaller in that sort of direction. So everywhere we're showing these sort of orange lines, that's imagined to be a north-south connection.
I guess my problem is I'm colorblind, so sorry about that.
Well, look, we go into more detail in the master plan, which again you will have. But when you're looking at that is the goal, right? Is to sort of stitch together the street grid of Lenoir in a tighter way, that will be better for street traffic, better for visibility, and better for pedestrians. And it's better for street traffic in the sense that it will slow people down. You know, we heard that a lot, that there's a lot of sort of people speeding around, and not necessarily seeing where they're going. And the two-way streets also will help with that.
Two-way streets.
So again, and again, you know, these sort of north-south connections also help with what we would call placemaking. So those can be, again, if these are streets that are pedestrianized, that becomes open space. It becomes the open space that people are asking for. You know, we're also looking for opportunities, obviously, to create other, you know, public spaces within the downtown. You know, there's J.E. Broyhill Park, which has a reputation that I think is not great, and I don't know if that's an earned reputation or not. You know, we've heard different things, but it doesn't matter in a way. I mean, if people don't think it's safe, it doesn't matter if it is in fact or not. I think, you know, looking for ways for downtown to sort of, you know, connect into Broyhill Park in a way and kind of take ownership of that is really important. You know, Walker Stadium similarly, Mack Cook Stadium similar. So the goal here really was to say, you know, where are places that we can introduce green space, public space, places for families to come. They can be programmed in different ways. We heard splash pad 1,000 times, and whether it's a splash pad or something else, it doesn't really matter, but you're creating spaces for families. So, you know, we've identified, you know, the idea that there could be a gateway park that would be a place to stitch into J.E. Broyhill, perhaps, but also bring people, you know, from there a little bit closer, and also be a nice sort of green amenity as you come into downtown for 321. We looked for opportunities for little pocket parks within sort of this downtown Main Street core. Again, these could be tiny things. It could be, you know, no bigger than 3 parking spaces put together, but, you know, you put a food truck on it, you put some benches, you put a nice shade tree, and you really start to get something really nice. You know, and then we have a big open space. When we talk about the campus, you know, there's a real opportunity at that end of downtown. There's land that the city owns or has access to. There's amenities that the city owns or has control of. And there's going to be a lot of growth, we imagine, along that area. You know, as mills get converted to residential uses, you know, there's going to be a lot of people clamoring for that. So we'll talk about that in more detail in a minute. You know, and again, you know, just going back to this notion of like whatever form we start to give to a downtown policy and capacity, you know, have to be always considered, like, what is the staff able to accomplish, who's going to be doing it, you know, and how do you grow the staff along with that. So this is sort of our illustrative view, you know, and we've got a board here, so you know, feel free to examine it in detail. But really, this is just a summary of everything we've already said, right? A lot of these orange buildings, and I apologize. I don't, even if you're not colorblind, it's a little subtle at this scale. But, you know, we had some people misinterpret these graphics and say, well, you know, somebody went and bulldozed my building. You know, that was not what we're trying to show. We are trying to show that, again, you start with you know, strategic, you know, points in downtown Lenoir that we've identified, and the development will follow, right? So if somebody's, you know, property suddenly has an orange building on it, it means, you know, a developer came in and paid them a lot of money to buy that piece of land, right? So that ideally is good for everybody. And again, sort of a 2D version of that. So I wanted to get into a little bit of detail about, so we broke up the downtown into 4 areas. You know, the west, which includes so this is a little bit bigger than your downtown footprint proper. But the West District, North, the core downtown, and then, you know, the Mulberry Street area. You could call it South. You could call it sort of a medical corridor, whatever you want to call it. You know, you'll have to brand all of these, right? If it's a useful framework, you want to brand it all. But again, in the West District in particular, you know, we see a lot of opportunity here in this area, you know, north of the band building, on the north side of Harper Avenue, to really create a really beautiful outdoor space that would have a lot of opportunities for programming, you know, farmers markets if you want them, arts markets, you know, and alternative festival sites, you know, parks for kids, all of those sorts of things. You know, it would solve the drainage issue that you have right now. You could sort of daylight this creek that's been sort of built over and create a really beautiful area, you know, that would also, again, solve some drainage issues. And it gives this band building a reason to be. I mean, you know, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more detail here. So just to orient everybody, you can see the stadium. I don't know where my cursor went. Right, so you can see the Mack Cook Stadium here. This is the gymnasium. This is the theater, the
Auditorium.
Foothills, and then the band building here. And that big metal sort of stripy green tan building is here where we've got this 12 Harper Avenue. So again, you know, you can imagine a green space here just north of the band building that does a lot of really great things. Again, it brings amenities into the downtown that residents want. It creates a nice, you know, node of development, you know, where all of the mills are or close to them. So it's a good bridge to downtown from that area. And you know, I think the band building, you know, and the campus, you know, if nostalgia was going to be enough, I'm just going to say this, I don't know if this is dangerous or not. Like, I think if nostalgia was a reason enough to renovate those spaces, it would have happened, right? So we think, you know, you want to look at a couple of things. I think nostalgia for an old Lenoir High School, you know, is a real thing, and that's important. You know, we think, you know, not treating it as this sort of sacrosanct, you know, temple of a former high school, but saying, like, this has to be a performing building. This has to be a building that generates revenue. You know, that's an important thing to think about. And then third, you know, looking at a bigger picture and saying, you know, right now this band building is at the back of a Lenoir High School, where the front of it is senior living and really kind of makes it a difficult space to use. You know, if we open up everything north of that as this park, all of a sudden, you know, this band building is fronting on that thing, and it really has new life as the centerpiece and sort of the terminus of a real public amenity, instead of just being at the back of a space, right? And it's also a good, you know, sort of nexus between, you know, a Mack Cook Stadium that really, you know, should be a jewel for downtown. You know, again, in terms of youth sports, you know, we heard that time and again. You know, that's what people want. It's a regulation soccer field in downtown Lenoir. Like, you know, host tournaments. Everybody who's at the tournament goes downtown to eat, you know, back and forth. There's a lot of synergy right there. So we're excited about that. We're excited about that for Lenoir. And again, there's more details in the master plan. And this is sort of summarizing what we said already. You know, there's a part of that band building that should be used for heritage tourism, you know, but that can't be the only thing. You know, community uses like, you know, art space, tech incubators, could be really important, and revenue generating uses. I mean, half the building should be revenue generating, you know, to help pay for everything else. You know, the garage would be a perfect space for a cafe, for instance. So the North District, again, I think the important thing for us to say is, you know, we see a lot of opportunity, you know, with all of those churches, with all of that parking, you know, leveraging that parking as a way to, you know, serve downtown when you have, you know, sort of the surge demand around festivals. But creating those opportunities for people to sort of percolate through the blocks and get to downtown proper is sort of key to unlocking all of that. You know, downtown, we see, you know, there's so many good things happening in the core downtown. You know, so many things that have already been started. I think you're just continuing those. I mean, you know, continuing your storefront program, continuing, you know, trying to activate second floors for residential is a great opportunity. You know, making those two-way streets will really help quite a bit. And again, sort of those pocket parks where you can introduce any kind of green space within that core would be really valuable. You know, in the South District too, we see a lot of opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of development that we already know is happening down there, driven by, you know, the hospital, that you really want to capture. You know, so we have some detail there. And I should also say along the way, I mean, again, you know, we know things change. So, you know, if you are applying, how am I doing? Am I okay in time? We good? So as you sort of apply some of the framework for this master plan, you know, as sort of the facts on the ground change, you can use the framework as guidelines, right? So, as an example for the courthouse, right? You know, if the courthouse stays where it is and expands, you know, we know, you know, from our analysis of the master plan that these north-south connections, you know, are really important to Lenoir. So the courthouse, as it expands, may want to try to close a north-south street, you know, as they expand to use as a sally port or whatever. You know, we think that could do a lot of harm, right? So when you're looking at a courthouse expansion that's going in its current site, you know, trying to maintain as many of those north-south connections for pedestrians, for people, you know, outside of just the courthouse is going to be really critical. You know, similarly, you know, if it's going in sort of this site here at the old Walgreens, you know, on that block, you know, that's a really critical site. I mean, you know, it's a culmination of the entrance to downtown from 321. It's also the end of this axis coming up Mulberry Street from the hospital. You know, so you've got a lot of people coming in. It's a really visible spot. You know, so and again, in addition to, you know, sort of the streetscape connection, this notion of gateways into downtown, you know, and visibility and creating a downtown that's suitable for pedestrians. I think, you know, like a fortress there would be a real problem, I think, for downtown Lenoir. Right, so as much as you can, you know, work with the county to make a courthouse in that location open and inviting and a great gateway and an advertisement to Lenoir would be really critical. You know, so again, you have a framework here within this downtown to really look at what, you know, as facts change, you know, what are the guiding principles that you're trying to build towards. You know, we have in the master plan some case studies of cities, you know, within the region and outside the region that are similar to Lenoir that have implemented some of the things that we've talked about in this master plan, so you can use those as a guideline as well. And we've given you some ideas about phasing. You know, you can't do everything at once. You know, so what are the things that you can do, you know, today or tomorrow, and what are the things that you're going to be looking at doing 10 years from now? So again, I don't want to go through all of that detail, but you can read it, you know, in the master plan. And then we talked a little bit about funding strategies. I think, you know, what I think we heard, you know, and you guys probably have a better pulse of this, is that nobody's expecting things for free, but they want value. And so, you know, understanding where the funding is going to come from and what it's going towards and what is the most important things, you know, I'm sure is going to be critical as you move forward. So I talked a lot. And again, I apologize that it's all a little bit small, but again, you can look at it in detail now that I've given you sort of a framework, you know, within the master plan. I'd be happy to answer questions.
All right, anyone have any questions?
Not at the moment.
I know it's,
It's a lot to take in.
yeah,
It's-
we've been trying to do
Yeah.
that. And we've had it for, you know, a while to look at, and obviously we've been reading over it, looking into the whole thing, but it's still hard to take all that in and be ready to ask certain questions about it.
Well, like I said, I mean, you know, we're not going away. So by all means, I think, you know, Kayla and Matthew are a great resource. You know, I would say, you know, Kayla and Matthew are a great resource to Lenoir. They've been really helpful to us in sort of mobilizing, and they've done a lot of work, and I imagine it's sort of over and above. So I think it's worth saying thank you to them, and thank you, Mayor Gibbons. I know you've been a real champion of this effort. It's been, you know, really, really great to work with you in the city.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
we'll keep digesting, and we'll be back with more.
Absolutely.
That's right, we got it adjusted.
We got, yeah, a little bit more time on it.
No, I just,
All right, we will then move on to, we don't have matters scheduled for public hearing this evening, so we'll move to our consent agenda items, consisting of the minutes of the city council meeting of Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. Item B are the minutes.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Closed session. This is closed session minutes of the city council meeting of Tuesday, January 16th. And these were reviewed by the city council, the city manager, and the city attorney. Item C is a bid award. This is for the old Lenoir High School, which is at the campus, roof replacement project. This is a recommendation. We award a low bid of $233,375 to Barger Ash Roofing as the lowest responsible bidder for the old Lenoir High School roof replacement project. And that is which roof? Band building and gym, that's right, yeah, on that. That's item C. And item D is a resolution. This is for a BRIC grant. This is a recommendation of approval by resolution to designate agents to seek funding for the BRIC grant for the City of Lenoir Resilient Wastewater Treatment Infrastructure Project. This designation is part of the application process. There is a note, additional background information is available on the council action form included in the agenda packet. So that's your items A through D. I will open it up to the council for any discussion and/or motion when you're ready.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through D as presented.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Thomas to approve the consent agenda items A through D as we have in front of you. No other questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. All right, we'll now move to a time on our agenda for requests and petitions of any citizens. If there's anyone who would like to address the council concerning any issue, now is the time to do so. Yes, sir. Come forward, if you will, come to the podium, and you'll give us your name and address. We appreciate it.
sorry about that. My name is Patrick Carisi. I'm with His Glory Search Rescue in 18. I wanted to come to y'all and ask y'all, what's your plans to help the homeless instead of keep pushing them out? It seems like we're pushing them out of the community instead of trying to solve a problem of homelessness. What's our resolution for that?
Well, there's a lot of things that are going on. I don't know how much you followed of all that, but we've had some warming shelters that have been.
That's operating illegally, open below 32 degrees, is that correct?
No.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they have been open, and they've been running 24 hours a day. Is that not correct?
It's not for us.
Yeah, everything has been, that we have had anything to do, our staff, fire and police have all been there, and the county, obviously.
Primarily county, yeah.
Yes.
Tell you, Kenny, I tell you, bring it, don't you?
Hi, I'm Alice Houston. Well, down right here, James Wilfine, I've been there, I was homeless myself. There was no showers there for them to take a shower. They're sleeping on the floor. And they're just like, it's not a proper way they're taking care of them. Somebody needs to really look into it, Like I said, I was homeless, and I'm here to help them, and they're not being taken care of right.
She's been told, by my understanding, she's told me, because she's been there, they're being told they have to stay there. If they leave, they can't come back. And to operate a warming shelter, it cannot be open unless it's below 32 degrees. So anything above 32 degrees, you can't do a warming shelter. You can't hold homeless people or anybody else in a shelter 24 hours a day unless you have proper showers and everything else.
What they're doing is
and housing.
They're making them do all kinds of stuff around the premises to be able to stay there. They've been donated food, clothing, blankets, everything from people from the outside, and they're not even getting it, you know? They've asked for it, because we went over there, and we have someone that's in there. They've asked for stuff, and they just tell them, no, they can't have it at the time. and
You
they
understand
have
that's
to-
not a that's not a city-run facility.
It's inside the city limits.
I understand
It is
that, but
that,
it's a
yeah.
private facility that's doing that.
But there's still laws on warming shelters, and you have to be licensed. My wife is a licensed person for shelters in the state of North Carolina,
Okay.
so I'm very aware of these laws.
Not
And
disputing
taken
that.
to us, yeah.
And Ike Perkins is very familiar with me.
Okay. Well, thank you. I mean, all this will have to take in and pass on to the proper people involved in the
Are
county.
we gonna try to do something about this and try to work to fix this homeless problem and actually help the people involved instead of fight against them and push them out? Because I've been arrested for feeding the homeless.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and we could get into the Western Piedmont Council of Governments has got a homeless response team.
And it seems like, if I'm not mistaken, okay, they got, what, $4.2 million over a 5-year time, or a 4-year time for 5 counties, is that correct?
For 4 counties.
For 4 counties, okay?
So 9
And
years.
how many people are working on that in each county?
Well, whatever the response team is, and I don't have any exact. Yeah, I mean, you know, they are working on it.
All right, so are they actually working on it, or are we using them as a study group and research group?
They are actually doing both of those. I would say the answer to that one.
count this weekend.
Because there's plenty
So
of
what's
people
what's
out
the
there.
count up to?
I have no idea. The numbers are turned into the federal, state and federal governments.
And that's supposed to be done tonight, is that correct?
It's due this week.
Any way we can get the numbers on that? Because I don't think they're
Call
gonna
Western
match with
Piedmont
the
Council of
true.
I
Government.
mean, that's,
Yeah.
you have to have the consortium of care and all that. We
Yeah,
don't
but
have
I
that
was
in the
told
county.
by one of them, our numbers don't matter.
Yeah.
Well, we can't debate that tonight, but take your information and pass it
All
on
right.
to the
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
When
Yeah.
can we debate this?
This is not
Well, I
platform
mean,
for that.
like I say, the Western Piedmont Council of Governments is in doing this, and you're welcome to talk with them.
I've
you know.
talked to them
Okay.
more than once.
Well, then I would consider that you need to continue to do that.
All right, I guess I'll put a petition into.
You guys can't
Y'all
open
have
up
a blessed
a
night.
shelter for them?
It's not a city function.
It's not a city function to do that.
No
put up
city
a
do
shelter.
that.
We don't
But
run
oh, you guys
shelters.
arrest people that are out there that are homeless because they're homeless. I mean, like, some people I understand don't want to get on their feet, but like for us, we got on our feet and we got us, you know, we're doing good. But there's other people that just can't, you know.
Her and him are two of my, what I call success stories. I've been helping them for a couple of years and help them get off the street and into a place.
And we came
How
from
many people
California
can say
down
that?
here and became homeless and we got on our feet. I understand some people don't want to, that's their opinion, but there's other people like us that do, you know, and there's nothing for us out there. Nothing. The day we got our apartment, the day we were gonna get arrested because unfortunately we were at the Walmart and they said we're trespassing, I guess that's what it is. And I mean, that's not, you know, it's ridiculous.
It seems to me like this has been turned over to Western Piedmont so y'all can get it off y'all's shoulders so it ain't your problem.
What would you have the city do? I'd like to hear you answer that.
Give me some time and I'll work on that and I'll
Work
bring it
on
back to the next meeting. I got no problem. If y'all gonna work with me and help me solve this problem, I'm
That's a fair
glad to do it.
question. If you've got suggestions, bring them to us.
I will.
But right now, all we're hearing is accusations.
There wasn't
That's all we're hearing.
accusation, it was facts.
That's all we're hearing.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
don't
Not the
let's don't
platform for
debate.
that.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being with us.
We'll come back, I'll be back next month to talk to y'all, and I have all the solutions.
Thank you.
One solution is open up another homeless shelter.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Mr. Whittington and Mr. Harper?
There's a lot of limping going on.
Yeah,
Manager of the council, if I could just have a few words, as your recreation department head, I support 100% what Lester's bringing to you tonight to vote on.
okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Phil.
Good evening.
Good evening, Lester.
Hello,
You
friend.
know, it's a little rough for me right now.
And by the way,
Thursday,
I
will
was
have
going to
surgery.
say that, thank you. We'll be keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. I know you have some surgery coming up here
Yep.
real soon.
Thursday morning.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be thinking about you. I hope everything goes well.
I do too. Hope to be
We'll-
back
we'll,
soon.
uh,
Yeah,
You're in our thoughts.
Thank you. Y'all know this year is Harambe, 50 years of Harambe. And I wrote a grant for a mural. And the reason I'm here is to ask the council's permission to present that mural on the wall in the gym on the left-hand side over there by where the music instruments are there. And the mural's going to be 6 feet by 12. And the young man that's going to paint the mural is Charles Kinzu from Hickory. You ever been to Hickory down uptown, all the murals on the walls? He has done a lot of those murals, did a great job. I try to do a little sketch, what I'm wanting to do. And that's just some of the stuff, but it's a little hard right now to talk about Harambe because we just lost one of the co-founders of Harambe, Mr. Dwight Perkins passed. They called me Saturday morning and said he passed. You know, we lost Miss Green last year, so I lost two good people.
It's nice.
And I'm hoping that we can do this mural for them in their honor. I have been speaking with their families, and they are so excited about this mural. So that's why I'm here, hoping. It really should be 51 years, but, you know, we was out for a cold year, so this will be our 50th year. So I'm hoping the council will vote on the let us put that mural on the wall in the gym, on the left-hand side coming into the gymatorium.
It's on the left-hand side?
Yes, sir, on the left-hand side coming in.
Okay.
Nice.
And correct, and I think Lester said a 6 by 12, it's actually a 10 by 12, 120 square feet.
Sure, yeah. I just made
120.
it.
Even better.
Even better.
Yeah.
And that's just a rough draft, but the names that y'all see there, we're gonna put the actual pictures of like Dr. Gaston Mishaw, who started the Harambe Festival, Dwight Perkins. I was trying to keep a secret from Sam, but he kept coming in my office, so Sam's one of them, and Miss Green. So I've been getting pictures from the family members so I can give it to the artist so he can draw. And it's gonna have activities of the other events that goes on during Harambe during that week. So it's gonna be a nice mural, and I want to display that the first week in August for Harambe. Get the families up here, and I think it's gonna bring the community more involved and do a lot of good for this year for Harambe,
Yeah.
to see that mural.
That sounds good.
Sounds
Any,
great.
anything to add to it? That sounds like a great idea, and we're excited that it's 50 years
Yes.
of Harambe. The oldest festival in Caldwell County, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a big
So
year.
we're always excited when that week comes and the events that you put together for it. And
It's gonna be big this year, and, you know, try to do something nice and special this year for the festival. I got a couple of the churches involved, some other citizens bringing ideas, something different. I don't want, like I told them, it's their festival. All I'm doing is just hosting it. It's a Caldwell County festival. So,
okay, I guess
Blessing.
the mural, I know it's not exactly what's going to be
No,
there,
it-
but I
it's
guess
just similar.
that when that comes, you guys will have a
I'll make sure.
have a look at all that, make sure you know it agrees with what you want, kind of thing. So, council, any question or discussion or anything?
Back to you when we get ready, you guys.
Sounds good. Sounds exciting.
It's just for us to keep.
Yeah, you can keep it. I'll just give you an idea, picture idea what's going to similar. I know the writing part's, but I want Harambe on there with the meaning of the years and it's 50 years. That's mainly, but the pictures is going to be of the actual people, Dwight and Ms. Green, them the pictures for where their names are.
Right.
You want to vote to endorse the concept, then we'll bring the final thing back to you when it gets
Yeah,
ready. to go.
that'd be a good way to do it. We'll endorse the concept of what you're doing, and then when you get the final thing,
Okay.
with everybody's approval, you know.
We're gonna work out the grant to go through the city, so we'll get all that worked out too.
Yeah. All right. I'll entertain a motion then to endorse the concept for the Harambe 50th Anniversary Harambe Arts Festival mural to be done at the MLK Center.
Say that fast 4 times.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay?
That we
A
accept.
motion from Councilmember Rogers that we approve the concept for this and look forward to it. And you've got some fine people that we're honoring there. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank all of y'all.
Thank you very much.
Good luck, Lester.
Good luck, Lester.
Go Tar Heels.
Go Tar Heels, that's right.
I don't know.
You want to reconsider
Be
that?
Clemson.
Ralph, what-
You better watch out, Lester. Don't be saying that loud. Citizens won't vote.
He did it after the vote. Smart man.
All right, thank you for that, and thank you, Philip, for putting all that, getting that together, and you guys presenting that. All right, we'll move on then for, is there any other person that would like to come before the council to speak about this petition of citizens or anything? I don't see anybody. Looks like everybody else is
Family.
our family here, so that's good. All right, we'll move on then. We don't have reports of boards and commissions this evening, so we'll move on to the report and recommendations of the city manager, Mr. Hildebrand.
A few items of information this evening. The ABC Board will meet on Thursday, February 8th at 2 o'clock. The Lenoir Business Advisory Board will meet on Thursday, February 8th, 6 p.m. at 3rd floor City Hall. The City County Service Committee will meet on Monday, February 12th at noon at the Civic Center. The Economic Development Advisory Committee will meet on Tuesday, February 13th, 8:15 at the Civic Center. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee will meet on Monday, February 19th, 6 p.m. at Mulberry Rec. And City Council will have their annual budget retreat on Friday, February 23rd at 8 a.m., and that'll be held at the J. Hebrew Hill Civic Center. Tonight, we have one item for your consideration. If you're ready to vote on that, you may not be, but we have on there the resolution to approve the downtown master plan. And what this will give us guidance as we go forward with the development of our downtown area. You've heard a lot of the highlights at the committee of the whole last meeting, but also tonight from Andrew. And before you go back and consider that, I just want to thank Kaylin Horn and Matthew Anthony for all the work on that, but also all the folks involved in this plan. As he mentioned, some of the folks at the beginning of his presentation, the committee of the whole was greatly involved, the department heads, the plan steering committee, all the community meetings and all the citizens that came out, downtown merchants. Just had a lot of folks involved in the development of the plan, and just want to say thank you for putting time into that to go back and make downtown what you want it to be, to plan for that for the future. So just thank you for that. But if you're ready to vote, we have a resolution there, and we can go back and start the implementation.
All right, you heard the recommendation. We have a resolution to approve the downtown master plan. And of course, that will continue to be worked on as we move forward, but we need to.
And I was going to say, I don't know if Kaylin or Matthew have comments at all. I mean, you guys lived with it for a year and a half, so.
All right. Any questions from any of the council or anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, Mayor, I think there's things in here that we're all going to discover as we go on. There's going to be things in there some of us like about certain things and not about others, but I don't know that there's any one driving issue that would keep us from voting on this tonight. I think it's something that, again, is going to be implemented in stages. We've got to find the funding for certain things. I don't see any delay in holding it up, and I'll make a motion that we approve the master plan. And again, thank everyone that's been involved.
Thank you. You have something, Mr. Presley?
Yeah, how does this get presented to the public? Do we advertise it that it's available on the website?
Yeah, we've got it out to the public now, so we can go back and share. It's a big document, but
Yeah.
we'll be glad to hire folks who can go back and talk to different groups regarding that. So
Yeah.
we can, Joshua can spend time putting out press things, different segments
Right.
of it and components of it as we go forward.
Okay.
It's going to take 10 years. That's the plan, so it may take a little while to get there.
10 years is a lot of money.
A lot of money, but a lot of time, but
Okay.
And now the work begins on that.
No time to waste.
No time to waste, that's right. And we're already doing some of it with the roofing, as we have a bid award for that.
Yep.
We approved the lights at Matt Cook, that's already done and underway, so we got a lot of things already, that are already begun for a lot of this project, so, the projects that are done, so.
it just ties a lot of things together.
It does. All right, we have a motion on the floor, Councilmember Perdue, to accept the resolution, adopt the resolution of the downtown master plan as presented. No other questions or discussion? I'll call for the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much, and we are underway. We appreciate that. Anything else, Mr. Hildebrand?
That's all I have.
Okay. Report and recommendations of the city attorney, Mr. Rohr?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Nothing on that, okay. And I'm trying to think, I don't think I have anything to report at this point in time.
Just got the Black History Month.
Black History,
Program.
thank you.
Yeah, we have
I knew there was
several.
something I had in my brain there somewhere.
It is Black History Month.
It is.
But there's several programs that are going on. There is a redate for the showing of the color purple because of the passing of Mr. Dwight. So we have tried to repost that, and I'm sure the city will update that. But there's a lot of great events going on, and just take a look and come out and celebrate.
Good. Take advantage of things that are going on in and around the community for Black History Month. Several things at the King Center that will be happening, and look forward to that. Always a fun time to learn a lot about the history that way. All right. Anything else from any of our council members to have a report? All right. If not, we stand adjourned.
My fault.